Hey there, thank you so much for joining me today. If we haven't met yet, I am Melissa. I am a wife. Me and my husband own our own business. We both work from home and we have two incredible daughters whom I homeschool. And on this channel, we talk a little bit about homeschool, business things, home life, but really how to practically manage all of the callings and the roles that we've been given to steward and to manage. How do you live it out well, especially when there's a lot of things going on and it's a full plate of life and a busy season? So today I want to dive a little bit into the practical aspect of how to plan out your week and get things done throughout the week, like whether it's project management, whether it's home and work or business, or you have a passion project going on. How do you juggle all of those balls throughout the week to actually get some things done? I often call myself a creative heart with a practical mind. I feel like I have like two parts of me a lot of the time, where I'm a very creative person. I'm a visionary. I'm a big dreamer. I love to take an idea and just expand it, right? I can like see it. I'm also like creative, like hands-on creative, drawing, design, all of that stuff. But I'm also very practical. My mind needs a step-by-step process. So it becomes my like super strength, I think, in that superpower, in that I can see these like grandiose big things and I can like boil it down to nuts and bolts and pull out a plan. And that's what I do with our business and with our clients. But it's also what I do in my life, because I have a lot of things going on. And not only is there business and client projects and client management and just business management in general, but I also have the home life side of things, my marriage, how to be a good mom, how to manage our home to where I'm stewarding it well and creating a peaceful environment for my family. And then also homeschool, which is its own thing of what are our goals, how are we staying on track, and how do I actually manage that day to day. So every week for me is a full plate. There is a lot to go on, and your plate might look completely different, but I'm very sure that if you are a wife, a mom, a business owner, whatever it may be in 2022, you have a lot of stuff going on, and it can be overwhelming. And I know I have fallen through seasons where I feel like I'm not getting anything done, and I can't stand that feeling. I hate the feeling of like wasted time or wasted resources. Like it drives me crazy. And so I like to know that I'm getting things done and getting the things done that actually matter. So we're going to dive into that today. I'm going to stop rambling and we're just going to get into it. And so we're going to talk about how to actually get things done. How do I plan my week out to actually get things done when I have multiple projects and different aspects of life going on? The first thing I want to dive into are three mindsets, I guess is how I would describe them, before we get into the practical, because the way you think about things is really important. It's actually more important than your action, because the way you think about things is going to determine your action and then therefore the outcome. So the first thing I want you to think about, should be of no surprise if you have seen any of my other videos, is that to know your priorities in this season. So when it comes to productivity and getting things done and managing life and projects, you need to know what is actually important in this season. I'm a huge proponent on that. I think it has been life-changing for me to be able to understand like the top things that I've been given to steward, especially season to season. It might change, but you need to know what your main things are so that you can keep them the main things throughout the week, because life's going to happen and curveballs are going to be thrown and shiny things are going to come up. But if you've already done a little bit of the head work to know that what your priorities are in this season, then you can keep them your priorities. So that's number one. Number two is being okay with saying no. Because when you know your priorities and when you are holding those things, those roles, those responsibilities, those projects that you have been given to steward, you're gonna have to be able to say no to other things. Opportunities that come, situations that occur. You need to be able to say no and to create boundaries so that you have the space to do the things that you're called to do. And honestly, this needs to be a little bit of a mindset shift. Also, if you feel bad about saying no, if you feel selfish for saying no, it is a requirement. You cannot do it all. That's just a fact. So that needs to be a mindset and a paradigm shift. If you think you can do it all, you can't. You can only do what you're being called to do. In fact, you're actually being selfish if you think you can do it all and you're completely wearing yourself thin and wearing yourself out because you're not giving the best of yourself to the things that you're called to do. As a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, as a daughter, whatever it is, those things are for you this season, create some boundaries and be okay saying no, because you need to protect and guard what it is that's been given to you to steward. And then number three, this one might be a little bit different, but it's really important to remember where you get your source from, where your strength comes from, your energy, your ideas, your motivation. It's good to remember where all of that comes from. And for me, it is all of God, from God, for God, through God. I am not the keeper and the source of my ideas, my creativity, my strength, my ability, the grace to do all the things that have been handed to me to do does not come from me. And the moment that I take it and I hold on to it, I completely squish it. It's ruined. And I'm telling you this from my own personal experience. This is something I struggle with often because I like to have control. I like to hold on to things. And some would call that manipulation because I like to manage it. But I have to be open-handed with the things that I've been given to steward, even my role as a mom, my role as a wife, my role as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, my role as a homeschool mom. I have to hold it like this, and I have to understand that the creativity that comes from me for client projects is not actually I am not the source of that. And the ability to do it all throughout the week, I am not the source of that. There is a grace extended to me to do the things that I've been called to do and to walk and step out into obedience. So keeping that in the forefront of my mind throughout the week, especially in those moments of stress or in the chaos of just busyness, is so important. And I don't do it perfectly and I don't do it well all the time, but when I do it, it makes a huge difference. So those are 3 mindsets just to keep in your mind, just to keep in mind when you are doing the things throughout the week that you are called to do. Keep those things in mind and give yourself a good foundation to then do the practical. So let's get into the nitty-gritty practical steps that I do to plan out my week to make sure I'm being productive and I'm getting those things done that need to get done. Okay, number 1, again, is to know your priorities. So when it comes to the week, I actually write out my top 3 priorities for the week, and I call these move the needle things. What are the top things that need to get done this week that will move the needle in our business, in our homeschool or in our personal life. Now, a couple of important things that matter to me when it comes to like identifying these, I do 3. I probably wouldn't do more than 5. And I call them move the needle, but it's really just your top priorities for the week. A couple of kind of factors that go into play for me is that this can't be like a micromanaged task. This can't be a task that is just going to get done anyways. And so for me, and like in our business, this wouldn't be like my top priority of the week would not be a client management task. It wouldn't be sending an email or working on a project, because that's just like, that's going to get done anyways. It's like the busy work, as in like it's going to get done. It needs to be something that actually moves the ball forward. So I try not to have this be a client focused task, because again, client work just gets done because it needs to get done. But if it is client focused for me, it is something that starts or finishes a project. So it's a major thing that moves that ball, and it either starts it or it completely finishes a project, so that that's no longer on the plate and I have more space. The other thing that is a move the needle task for me would be major business tasks that like involve me and my husband to work on our business. So I keep doing like this and this, because visually, like these are all like the busy bee tasks that need to get done in our business. Client projects, like sending emails, client management, all of this like gets done, and it needs to, because this is what pays the bill, like when it comes to our client work. But up here are the tasks, like the big thinking tasks that focus on our business. And these are the things that I like to list as a major move the needle priority of the week. So these are like marketing our business. How are we going to grow or scale our business? How are we going to attract more clients? These are the things that only me and my husband can do. And if we don't do them, they're not going to get done. And like the reality is, in our business, it's just the two of us. So if we don't do any of it, none of it gets done, which is difficult. It's not the best place to be, which is why like these tasks, the working on our business is so important, because these are like the higher level thinking and conversations and tasks that actually level up our business, so that we can bring on contractors to help us with client work. We can make things automated in our business, so we're not having to manage as much. Another thing that would be like a top priority for me throughout the week would be something that I've already mentioned, like things that only we can do in our business. And this actually applies across the board. The things that only I can do in my world that move the needle forward. I always like to include a passion project or a personal project. I mean, I'm a creative, and me and my husband, I feel like, are serial entrepreneurs. And so we always have like passion projects or little side things going on. This YouTube channel and personal brand is one of those things. And so every week right now in my world, one of my top 3 priorities is something related to this channel or this personal brand. And that's because if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. And also, like, I'm the only one being held accountable. Nobody else is like paying attention to it. I am the only one holding it and being held accountable to it. And so keeping it in the forefront for me is important, because like if I don't do it, the needle doesn't move at all. So that's practical step number 1, is list out your top priorities for the week, and what are those like real needle moving things that need to happen during your week. Okay, so now number 2, the next practical thing that I do when planning out my week is I will just write down, I will brain dump on a piece of paper everything that I need to do that week. I mean, this is my notebook that like holds all the things, but I will literally just like turn to the next page and write down all the things. Order groceries, send this email, work on this client project, send this proposal, plant seeds, do laundry, literally all the things, all of the different hats that I wear. I will just list it out, all out, what needs to get done this week. So it's out of my brain onto a piece of paper. And this is just a part of the process for me. It has to be on like a scratch piece of paper where I can like scribble and do whatever. It's not in like this organized manner, because it has to get out of my brain first. Then the next thing I do is then I will organize it. And so I have somewhere in this stack, all the stacks, all the paper. I have my actual like planner. I'll probably do a video or share this on Instagram in a little bit more detail. But what I will do is I will take my like brain sort list from my notebook and I will write it in my planner for the week. So this is like my weekly planner. And honestly, I've actually shifted my view of my paper planner, and it's like my task manager. I don't manage my schedule in this, I manage my tasks, and it's made a huge difference in getting things done throughout the week. So I'll write this out. This is kind of what I look at every day. And over on this side, I'll write out everything that needs to get done. And I try to categorize it: personal, homeschool, work, or if there's like a specific project I'm working on, like I'll list out that project and all the tasks. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be in order, but I like to keep it in this planner so I can see it every day. And then the next thing I do is that I actually utilize block scheduling. If you're familiar with that, there are tons of videos out there. I might do one in the future. Let me know if that's something you're interested in and how I like actually do block scheduling with my calendar and my planner. But basically the premise of it is, instead of micromanaging your day, 9 o'clock I'm doing this, 9:15 I'm doing this, 9:30 I have this meeting. Instead of like micromanaging your day with times, because I've learned like that does not work, especially with little kids and especially with like working from home. Like if you have a toddler or a newborn baby, you know you can't like micromanage what time things are getting done. But I like to manage blocks of time or like rhythms of my day. So I know, because we have a similar like day flow to our day, I know that the morning time after breakfast is when we do lessons. And then we transition into like lunch and playtime. And then I know during nap time, that's my work block. And so I've kind of identified these main blocks throughout my day. And I list that. That is how I use my paper planner. And so I have a block for home, my home tasks. I have like a block for our homeschool lessons. I have 2 blocks for work, and then a like miscellaneous where I'll just write down appointments or random things that need to happen. So I go from this to-do list to actually writing out throughout my day. So this is like, I don't know if you can see it. Again, squinting with the glasses. It's just gonna be a thing. So this is all of Monday, and I will write out from my to-do list, what are the home things that need to get done today? What lessons are we doing? And then my work tasks. And really like my work tasks is what this is heavily like used for. But I do that for the day. Sometimes I'll kind of like go ahead and like schedule things out throughout the week so that I can see the whole week at a glance of what tasks are actually getting done and they've been assigned to a day. And again, like if doing the whole week is a little bit overwhelming or not practical for you, then just do that day. But I need to like do that entire process of taking all of my tasks, everything that needs to get done out of my head onto a paper, and then reorganize it into my planner so that I have basically a short list every day, a short to-do list every day for my work, for my lessons, for my home, for the garden, like whatever it is it might be that you're managing. Block scheduling for me has been a game changer, and utilizing my paper planner as a task manager and not a time manager, if that makes sense, has been a really big game changer for me. So really, whatever system you use and that works for you, use that. But the important thing is that you put an actual like action plan into your day and you know what you're working on. And then this kind of gets us into step 3, because when you're doing this, you're actually planning ahead. And that's step number 3, which is practically, I like to plan ahead for as much as I can as possible. And the thing that I have learned with homeschool, with working from home, with managing multiple projects, is that, especially like just the working from home aspect of it, is the more that my brain has to switch from like mom mode to business mode to cleaning mode, back to business mode, back to mom mode, the more that my brain has to switch to those different hats or those different buckets, the more draining it is. And I can't eliminate that completely because I am a mom and I work from home, and like those two lives just coexist at the same time. And it's beautiful and chaotic. Like, can be really chaotic. Like, I was on a call with a client. Me and my husband were both on a call with a potential client. And like, literally, our daughter came in. She's potty training. She came in having sat on the toilet and needed her bottom cleaned, and like mess and all, just like naked kid with poop on her running around during a client meeting. That's just like real life work from home mom sometimes, and you can't get rid of it completely, nor would I want to. But I have found that the more that I can eliminate those little micro like decisions of throughout the day, the easier it is for me to have like mental energy stored up for the important things. And so if I can plan ahead and eliminate some of those micro decisions, whether it's what, like when my daughter comes in and asks what she can have for a snack, or when I need to figure out what it is we're having for dinner, or if I'm going to go work out or not, like those are all little bitty micro decisions that drain mental energy. And even though it might seem insignificant and like a really quick, like you can have applesauce or the juice is in the fridge, it's a little like your brain still had to jump from its current task to a separate task and then jump back. And the way I think about it is a light bulb. Think about every little decision you're having to switch on the light bulb and then switch it off and then switch it on and then switch it off. And so if you are constantly switching it on and off because you're jumping from task to task or like role to role, you're draining that energy and you have a less energy to exert for the really significant task, like disciplining your child when a situation comes up, or working on a work project, or doing homeschool lessons with your child. Those are the things that actually move the ball forward, that actually make you productive at the end of the week. And if you are wasting all of your energy on these mindless tasks, or you're constantly being pulled into like mom mode and then work mode and then mom mode and then work mode, it's exhausting. Like, and I know it's going to happen. And again, you can't completely eliminate it, but planning ahead helps us to diminish it more and to reduce the amount of light switches on and off more, if that made sense. I don't even know if that sentence structure made sense, but hopefully you follow me. So the ways that I plan ahead would be meal planning. Even just knowing like what we're gonna have for meals is helpful. Snacks and lunch. I don't know what it is, but like you would think I would have that under control because like we're here all the time. We live here, we work here, we school here. Like the people need to eat and like the kids need to snack like a million times a day. What is it with kids and snacks and like always needing them? But that is like a light switch that is constantly turning on and off for me. And if I can plan ahead and already have a game plan for snacks, as silly as that is, it one diminishes stress for me, and it also like keeps my mental energy like saved up or stored up. So planning ahead. Another way this could look is setting out clothes the night before. For me, it's like setting out workout clothes. I wake up first thing in the morning, early morning, and I go walk. And if I have already done the work ahead of time to set out my clothes, I don't have to like waste energy and waste time trying to find that the morning of. So in terms of planning in advance, make sure you have what you need in order to be successful. And we've already talked about that with like meal planning or preparing things for lessons or having workout clothes pulled out the night before, right? That is little things that are preparing you to be successful for tomorrow or for the future. The next thing in terms of planning ahead is protect those blocks of time. So when we think back to like the block scheduling, if you are in work mode, do what you can ahead of time to protect that time. And for me, this usually looks like communication, setting expectations and clearly communicating. So it could be with my kids, letting them know, and it's really my oldest, like setting the expectation that when your younger sister is napping in the afternoon, that is mommy's work time. I'm in the office, I'm working, which means that she needs to like play quietly, watch quietly, like be as independent as possible. Now again, does she come in 10 million times and ask for a snack? Yes. Yes, she does. But we're working on it. And on the flip side of it, a huge thing for me has actually been communicating with clients or with like peers when I'm homeschooling. I homeschool in the morning. Like that's my time block. And basically before lunch, I'm in mom homeschool world. And that is just as important, if not more important, than work. And so I need to treat it and protect it for that like level of priority. And so communicating beforehand and setting expectations so that people know that I'm not necessarily available for like a last minute call or for text messages. Like we get text all the time. It's not uncommon multiple times a day to get texts from clients, current, past clients, because they need something, which is completely fine. But it's my job to make sure that I've set the expectation for when they can expect to hear a response back, or that my phone is in silent mode or airplane mode in the first part of the day, and I'll get back to you in the afternoon. So do what you can to communicate expectations so that you can protect those times to the best of your ability. Emergencies are going to come up, whether it's personal or work, and that is totally okay. Like we're allowed to be flexible. But as a general rule of thumb, protect those blocks and protect those roles to the best of your ability so that you can really focus your energy on the tasks at hand. So the last aspect for me of planning ahead is simply just looking ahead of time at what it is I need to get done that day. Maybe this is the night before. Usually it's in the morning before my girls are up. I like to just look at what needs to get done for work so that I have a game plan. Again, the priority thing just goes into my head of this comes first and the next so that when I'm in my work mode during Emery's nap time, I already have it. I have it on paper, but I also have it in my head of what needs to happen. So when I sit down at my computer, I can just go. And the same is true for my personal life or for the mom, home, homeschool, life hats, all the things. I have found that if I have it on paper written down what needs to get done, for instance, in the home, but I also have looked over it that morning and I have a game plan in my head, then I have noticed I just tend to be more productive. There tends to be less time for me to like mindlessly scroll on my phone. And this usually happens like after homeschool lessons, the girls are playing and it's not quite time for me to switch fully into work mode. Because I'll be pulled back into mom mode too often. And so I want to I want to reserve that mental energy as best as I can. So I've just set that boundary of it's not work mode. But if it's not work mode and if I'm not in full homeschool mode, then this limbo where laziness and procrastination tends to happen. And if I can have in my head, these are the things that need to happen in the home, then I can jump into those tasks at hand instead of like floundering and trying to figure out how to be productive in that moment, because then I just won't be productive. I'll just scroll on Instagram. And I hate that feeling. I hate the feeling of like wasted time, wasted energy. I'm not saying there's like no time in my day to like rest and mindlessly scroll, because that can have a benefit too. But if it's like ample time to that, then it's just like laziness. So doing what I can to look at my game plan for the day, the night before or the morning of, keeps it fresh in my head. And so I don't necessarily have to look at this every second of the day to see what I need to be doing. I just know, okay, I have a few minutes here. Let's jump on to laundry because that needs to get done today. Or let's, like this morning, for example, we didn't really like do lessons the way that I thought they would go. And so the girls were playing really well. I just let them keep playing. And so I went out to the garden and I planted seeds that I knew needed to get planted this week. And I knew that because like I've already done all the work to manage my tasks, to plan out my priorities, and have it top of mind and on paper so that when the time is available to me, I can go and I can actually get the thing done. So I hope this is really helpful for you. I would love to know, how do you plan out your week? How do you manage your tasks to actually move the needle forward and to get things done that make a big difference in your life? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if this video is helpful to you, if you would like more of this content in the future. I plan on doing a video on the productivity tools, the actual things that I use. I've kind of showed a few of them, like notebooks, planners, systems in my computer, systems that I use in business, and just productivity tools in general. That's a future video coming out. If you want that to come out soon, let me know in the comments. And just as a reminder, I know we have a lot of things going on as moms, as wives, as business owners, whatever it is that you have in your world right now and on your plate of life. But I want to remind you that if He has called you to it, He'll give you the grace to do it. That means you are not the source of that grace. You are not the source of the productivity or the ideas and the creativity of it. You are not the source of it. But walk throughout your week with an open hand. Have a plan have a plan laid out. Absolutely. But submit it before the Lord and trust that if you walk those steps of obedience, if you walk out the practical and the actionable things, that you'll be given the grace for it, and your efforts will be used and will be multiplied and will be fruitful. So I bless you if that's weird, but I pray just peace over your week, clarity in your mind, that there would be a clear vision for what needs to get done. There would be clarity in what actually matters, and that your steps would be fruitful. So thank you for being here. If you liked this video, if you want to see more of this type of content, then I would be honored if you would subscribe, and I'll see you next time.